what I'm becoming. It's more like we overcoming. Painting a picture so lovely. I'm using all of the colors. Get hide away from the darkness. Digging up what's undercover. Do you know I see it closet? All of these struggles, I swear I dispel it. All of this strife, I swear I repel it. All of this poverty, I swear I inherit it. All of this violence, yeah, we repair this. Are we prepared for the rise of an empire? And are we prepared for the fall of a system? Everything we know was a lie. Patch myself up from the root to the crown in the effort to preserve my bloodline. I would do anything for my soul tribe. Burn this shit down on the scribe, inscribing all of the light that I've been manifesting. Now I'm tired of waiting. All this time we wasted, all these sacrifices. Put it down in writing. More than qualified to achieve all I desire. Now where's the candle? Light up the fire.
For the team, took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free, free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity, I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I'll still live through technology. After the sun, comes the rain. And after the storm, the sun will start shining. Tears of pain, and tears of pain. Your destiny will manifest, yes, photosynthesis.
You live in a different world.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Hope you all are having a wonderful Wednesday evening, everyone. Shout out to Stylebox TV in the building, Queen Spicy. We got Ron in the building. Okay. Like I've been saying, or like I said in my last live, shall I say, excuse me. I've been sitting for the last few days in retrospect about how I'm going to go about doing what I need to do to be able to give what humanity is asking for, at least giving my part. Okay? Going forward, me going to all of these different red pill platforms and spaces, to be honest, they're not saying anything the fuck new. There is nothing innovative. There is nothing transformative about what they're saying. It's about holding on to a weak ass belief system. And it's weak because you don't really believe in it for yourself. That's why you need other people to believe in it for it to work for you. So since these red pill spaces, no matter how many different people, new people come on, y'all not saying anything that's transformative. And the only way that it will be transformative is that you need actual information in order for there to be that shift that y'all so desperately are trying to produce on these platforms. Okay? So with that being said, if y'all really want to learn for real, then y'all gonna have to start going to the queer platforms and sitting in the comments and listening to them, but we know you're not going to, which is why this information is really for those who want it. The rest of the niggas that want to stay behind and remain as fucking victims, y'all have the right to do that. But again, there are some of us who are on that Harriet Tubman time, who really trying to make a change. And first, before making any change outside of themselves, making a change inwardly. Okay? So that's how that's gonna work. And if y'all want to, at this point, debate me, because it's not gonna be a conversation. If y'all want to debate me, y'all gonna have to catch me on another platform. Because over here is about edutainment, not just entertainment and grifting for views and coins, but actually changing people's lives. Which is why when we see that when individuals call themselves leaders actually are put in positions to lead, they fail to do that. Now y'all asking, have I watched the election? No, I did not. I kind of took a mental health break that day. I ended up playing my damn game. I haven't played my game in over a month. And I kind of wanted to chill and unwind. But I'm pretty sure I might be giving my thoughts later on. And to be honest, I'm actually looking forward to other content creators giving their interpretations and perspectives of the debate. So y'all can share y'all thoughts down below. But as far as the debate, I'm not going to speak on that because I didn't watch it. I'm not about to be like a lot of people getting up here and speaking just based on how they feel as opposed to what's being said out of people's mouth. You know, actually doing the contextual and nuanced work. And speaking of contextual and nuanced, what's going on, Harold? Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share this as well. There is this constant bullshit ass conversation saying that, again, queer people are destroying the black family, destroying the black community. They are just infecting everything and going to decimate our numbers, even though black hetero men who are unconscious and don't love themselves and don't have a real father figure in their lives are the ones that are actually destroying the community. But then they also say that history repeats itself and there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, so with that being said, let's go back down memory lane. Let's go back down memory lane to the 60s and the 70s. When it was the civil rights liberation, and not just civil rights in reference to black people being liberated, but queer people being liberated and women being liberated. And again, the very genius, brilliant minds that sprouted from the Black Panther Party that a lot of black people, especially black men, love the whole militant type of aspect to it, the organizing and strategic aspect of it, which I do subscribe to as well. We're going to take a listen to 3 individuals from the Black Panthers Party, who again, in their time, was ahead of their time, and meanwhile, the people in 2024 are still ahead of their time, even though we're having the same fucking conversations. Make that make sense, please. And if you're going to make it make sense, the only way to make sense of this shit is fear. That's the only way I can think about it. You're going to hear from an individual, okay, by the name of Stokely Carmichael, who went on to be known as Kwame Ture. I hope I'm saying the last name right. Then we're going to take a listen to Huey P. Newton's thoughts on queer and women's liberation. And then we're going to hear from Miss Angela Davis herself, who actually was one of the faces of the motherfucking Black Panthers party. And I just recently discovered today that she came out as lesbian as well. Unless they murdered her and made her a clone. And if that's the case, y'all have the burden of proving that. But if that's not the case, I'm gonna need for y'all to really sit the fuck down and really educate yourself about how fluid queerness is in the reference to the intersections of blackness. You're gonna have black people who are cultured, who traveled around the motherfucking world, not just in the hood and on the YouTube streets, but traveled around the world, went to Africa, went to these black spaces and see that the same bullshit ass supremacy attitude is all over the motherfucking country, all over the motherfucking continent, all over the motherfucking planet. Let's take a listen at what they have to say about that. But before we do that, copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, definitely given that. Comment or commentary, definitely given that. News reporting, look at what we're doing. Teaching, look at what we're doing. Scholarship, look at what we're doing. Education, look at what we're doing. And research, look at what we're doing. Even doing our journalistic due deals. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this live belong to their respective owners, and BubzDaGawd does not claim any right over them. And just so the people that are in the bushes listening, I want you to know that I did not watch your live last night, nor do I intend to watch the live that you did last night, because y'all not saying anything new. Y'all just repeating the lies to y'allself so that y'all can feel good about y'all's lack of faith and y'all desperation for someone to save you, when we could be working on community and encouraging us to save ourselves. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, first video we're going to take a listen to, and again, this is all from a channel known as AfroMarxist. I have frequented their channels a few times over the years, but I subscribe now because I'm about to really, especially when I re-up on my weed this weekend, I'm really finna sit there and smoke and really consume all of this black knowledge that we are not seeing being shown on other red pill spaces. It's a bunch of motherfuckers over there acting like they Pan-African, acting like they Christian, acting like they care about humanity, but all they really want is power. Okay? But we're gonna take a look tonight at people who understood power and utilized it in a righteous way. They didn't make it just about them, they made it about all of us. They understood the assignment. And what I came under the understanding and knowledge of is that unfortunately it seemed like some of these niggas have forgotten where they came from in reference to blackness and what has contributed to help blackness. So the first thing we're going to listen to is a video, okay, from a YouTube channel. And I encourage especially all my black queer people to please subscribe to that channel, which is, one second, it is from the Black Gay History channel. They thought that AIDS was going to erase history, but the gag is it didn't kill all the gays, so the gays remember the other people who unfortunately lost their lives to that, to give us this information. Okay, and the video is titled "The Black Panther Party Supported Gay Rights." So if y'all have a problem or issue, I need for y'all to argue the Black Panther niggas down. You're gonna have to argue down Angela Davis's viewpoints. You're gonna have to argue down Huey P. Newton's viewpoints. You're gonna have to argue down Brother Kwame's viewpoints. And again, don't just take my word for it. Take their word for it, because they were the ones that were there. And it's so funny that we're gonna hear them say things that normally these other black people who are supposed to be conscious and high vibrating are not really going to say, because they are ignorant. They are con artists. They are finding a way to survive in this system. And we calling a cap on every motherfucker. Okay? So the first one, again, the Black Panther Party and homosexuality. Again, don't just take my word for it.
Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. The Black Power movement that emerged in America in the 60s and 70s galvanized many black people globally to take their identities as Africans and as a diverse global black community more seriously. One of the most recognizable organizations that became the face of Black power, Black unity, and Black protection against white supremacy during that time period was undoubtedly the Black Panther Party, an American political party and community organization that sought to protect Black Americans from systemic injustice and police brutality. Many Black people in the African diaspora have been inspired by the pro-Black ideologies of the Black Panther Party, which was founded and led by Huey P. Newton in 1966. But many straight and homophobic black folks seem to forget that the leader of the movement made it clear in 1970 that the black community should be supporting the gay community.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I know some of you niggas' toes is hurt. Ouch, ouch, ouch. What you say? Wait, what? This has got to be AI. This has got to be misinformation. It has to be. Well, we're going to also take a listen to his own voice in the interview that he did as well, out of his own mouth, about what he thought about the black community galvanizing together with the queer community. Let's continue further. Again, Black Panther.
In 1970, Huey P. Newton would publish an article in the Black Panther newsletter entitled "A Letter from Huey to the Revolutionary Brothers and Sisters" about the women's liberation and gay liberation movements. In it, he would detail the similarities between the black community's assaults by the police and the police harassment and raids which terrorized gay bars during that time period. He also implored Black Panther members to stop using hateful language towards gay men and instead asked them to ask themselves whether their hatred for gay men stemmed from any real problem or rather the insecurities of being labeled gay themselves.
Didn't the doc also say that he was aware enough to know that if me going over here and having these open, nice, human, maybe challenging at times, but challenging in real love, which means I hear you, but also let's look at it this way to see what it is. Again, look at the blind spots and see if there's something really there. The fact that I'm doing this, I could also risk my sexuality being questioned. Well, let me take it out of the realm of sexuality and put it into the one thing that is, again, part of this intersection: blackness. Remember those white individuals that put their lives on the line during the Underground Railroad era, girl, when they were taking and helping the slaves escape from the South to the North? Those white people, if you were being nice to a slave, if you saw the humanity in a slave, if you did anything that could help this slave learn about this system, therefore it has more information to free itself from, you are not automatically labeled as a nigger lover. And guess what? It's gonna be Christmas in July, the white edition too. So it's funny that, again, this individual, this leader, one of these leaders, who was able to do the one thing that some communities, some red pill spaces can't even do when it comes to their own hetero black men out here destroying the community for real, despite the motherfucking overwhelming amount of evidence. These men weren't just performative. And I think going forward, what we're gonna have to do is that the next live, I'm gonna show y'all what organization really looks like and also learn at the same damn time. But it's funny that he said to check his own black brothers and say, hey bro, first of all, y'all gonna have to stop discriminating against queer people like that, especially since you know what the fuck it feels like to be discriminated against. That's dumb. So why don't you check yourself? Or do we have to ask you some more questions, brother? Do we have to have the fag come in and ask you questions, brother? Let's continue. You speak from the root, black man? Well, I want you to also look at these individuals who were here before you and lay down that root that you say that you are from. I want you to also listen to what they said as well, because what they say is contrary to what you believe. Okay? So I hope you stay for the live.
Anyone who chooses to be homophobic but hold the Black Panther Party in high regard also seems to forget that one of the most prominent faces of the Black Panther Party in American media was Angela Davis.
A black woman was one of the prominent faces. She wasn't the face of the Black Panther movement, but one of the faces. Just like queerness is not the face of humanity, it's just one of the many faces of humanity. And she is a lesbian. She came out towards the 2000s. And again, don't take my word for it. I want you to take the words out their mouths, but don't take mine for it.
A lesbian activist, educator, and author. It seems even in the 60s, our most influential community leaders saw how discrimination of any kind would lead to human rights abuses and how community collaboration was the best way to protect vulnerable groups of people like the Black community and the gay community.
Hello? But when the docs do that, it's a problem. When the Mandrells do it, it's a problem. When the Mr. Bennetts do it, it's a problem. When the Tyrus do it, it's a problem. Or better yet, when there's any black man that does that, it's a problem.
The Gay Liberation Front was a popular umbrella organization for several smaller queer organizations that came together in 1969 after the Stonewall riots brought national attention to the plight of gay Americans and the discrimination they faced. Members of the Gay Liberation Front, some of which were black people, sought to make formal connections with chapters of the Black Panther parties, particularly after hearing about the founders' open letter of solidarity for their movement. A Harper's Bazaar article in 2021 highlights the story of 5 members of Gay Liberation Front who went on a national tour to speak to leftist-leaning community groups to build collaborative efforts by supporting local black freedom organizations and educate the public on the Gay Liberation Front's goals. Joel, Richard, Giles, Jimmy, and Doug left New York in their Volkswagen bus and toured cities like New Orleans, Greenville, North Carolina, and Louisville, Kentucky, to meet about their roles in the Gay Liberation Front, the ways different community groups could support one another. Some of the interesting parts of their journey that stuck out to me was that many members of the Gay Liberation Front were considering taking up firearm training like the Black Panther Party.
Now, I agree with that. That's what I keep telling queer people. Listen, there are going to be, unfortunately, queerphobic people in the world because fear is a part of their identity, and that's their problem. But once they start to spill their fears over onto you, you have every right to defend your damn self. So hell yeah, I'm with that. If you're a queer person, you need to know how to protect yourself so that you can change the narrative. So that instead of me reporting of a trans woman being unalived, I can at least motherfucking interview the trans woman who survived her encounter. Let's change the narrative. And the gag about it is that we don't need people outside of us approval to change the narrative in reference to actual self-defense. Because until y'all bring me the overwhelming objective proof of queer people actually killing people out here, destroying people's families for real, I don't want to hear nothing about it. Y'all want to keep having this pissing match All right, well, don't be mad when we over here with the information start pissing like old girl from Scary Movie 1 when they did the damn remake or whatever, or the parody of The Exorcist, when homegirl was sitting there pissing for 3 minutes. Damn, is she part racehorse? But anyway, let's continue.
Also documented that, like all of the other left-leaning groups of the time period, these young activists were being surveilled by authorities in the U.S. government who saw the collaboration of black rights and gay rights organizations as a
and a shame that now they don't even need these government officials. Some of these red pill spaces have already done the job of surveillancing this shit them damn selves.
threat to national security. On a less serious note, I think the young guys smoking weed and dropping acid while touring in their Volkswagen van is also peak 1970s imagery, and the fun, cantankerous details of their trip with the gravity of the real-life social movements that were forming during that time period would make an excellent movie. With anti-LGBTQ laws being passed and Jim Crow laws being reinstated in the U.S. in 2023, it should be clear to the larger black community that discrimination of any kind is harmful to all. It's incredible to think that the global black community struggles to accept LGBTQAI people, even though many of the most influential pro-black movements and leaders supported gay rights. The Civil Rights era was organized and voiced by openly gay activists like Barry Rustin and James Baldwin, and one of the leading faces in the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, has a noted history of bisexuality. And the leaders of the Black Panther Party were either gay or pro-gay themselves.
Wow.
And even now, the most public black rights organization, Black Lives Matter, has been LGBT-led and affirming since its inception. Without all this historical context, which is conveniently ignored by homophobic pro-black activists today, many pro-black organizations and spaces are only doing harm by excluding and outright discriminating against LGBT people, particularly black LGBTQ people within their own families and neighborhoods. If our leaders from the 1960s understood the commonalities between our communities, the leaders of today have no excuse. Joel, one of the brave youngsters from the Gay Liberation Front, who sought to make community connections with the Black Panther Party back in 1970, was quoted in 2018 as saying, "Everybody dissipates and disbands, but our lives continue to be revolutionary. Everything I do is black, and everything I do is gay. Because I'm black and I'm gay, I live a revolutionary life by even existing."
And again, shout out to the Black Gay History Channel, because what some people won't do or are afraid to do, others will. That should be, you would think, the beauty of life. But I mean, hey, whatever. But we're not done. What's up, boy Crazy? What's going on? The next two videos that we're going to hear, and again, the links are in the description box below if you want to hear it without my commentary on it, is going to be again from Stokely Carmichael, who joined the Black Panther Party and journeyed around the world to visit with the revolutionary leaders, eventually ending up in, I'm gonna mess this name up, girl, Conakry, Guinea, where he changed his name from Stokely Carmichael to Kwame Ture, I hope I'm saying that right, in 1969. Okay? This was back in the day. This was before TikTok. This is before Instagram. This is before social media. This is before the internet, where we can share things in milliseconds. Okay? Let's listen to him speak specifically on the topic of homosexuality. Shout out to people who record shit, because I keep telling y'all, especially in the information age, whatever you put out will be analoged. Which is why I said, for that future student who gets that A+ off of my content, Cash App $BubzDaGawd over $100, I'm gonna be compensated by the universe for my energy. My gifts and my talents will make room for me, but I'm doing it in the realm of love. That way it keeps me balanced, so that when power does come my way, I don't become a crazy fucking tyrant where I care about me over everybody else. Let's listen to him talk about homosexuality. Okay? Take a listen. Hopefully you'll be able to really understand, because the quality is kind of fucked up. But anyway, you can listen to it uninterrupted comment section, description box below.
The only way this can be combated is through mass political organization. I think we're about at the conclusion. Fundamentals for unity presupposes organization. Now, we did say one thing, and this is a point we must hammer home. We said that when you think, you must think differently from the enemy. The confusion is here. Many Africans in America actually think, and even some who call themselves revolutionary and Marxist-Leninists say that we Africans in America have the same culture like other people in America. And they say it. This is a great error. This causes a great deal of confusion. Secretary says, à chaque peuple sa culture. Every people have their culture.
Every people have their culture. Just one.
As a matter of fact, our culture has been in conflict with the American capitalist culture and continues to be.
Hear that? Our culture has been in constant conflict with the Catholic, white, European culture. That has always been the case. Pay attention to that. Let's listen further.
And will be until we destroy it. If you're not thinking clearly about your culture, you'll make big errors. I'll give you an example. People have a problem with gay rights and gay and lesbian rights. Man the other said, you know, how come I hear you speak? I never hear you speak about gay and lesbian rights. Yes, that's right. He said, but I go all the others, they speak about it. I said, we are not from the same political platform. I fight for my people's culture. I know they have one. My job is every day to more properly define it and to fight from it.
Right.
You think we don't have one, so you fight from a capitalist culture. You'll never get anywhere.
And listen to what he means about capitalist culture. This is a capitalist system that has found a way to make money off of all of our energies. The reason why a lot of this gay pride shit is out there like this is because corporations are able to make money off of it. Then they have to demonize it again to put it down, and then now this new group of people who are rising above, and now it's their turn in the seat. Now they get to make money off of them. It's this constant bullshit ass flow where we are literally being manipulated to do all of this through ignorance and motherfucking fear. But listen to how this man breaks this down.
Africa has a culture of its own. And her people are the carriers of that culture. And anyone who knows anything about culture, when it's attacked, Jack, the people hide it from themselves. Malcolm X said it. He said, they don't call themselves Africans, but you scratch them a little bit, you'll see how African they are. They've hidden Africa from themselves. That is to say, the people seeing the enemy overwhelm them will hide the very culture from the people themselves. The conscious element will come to see how they've hid it, to pick it up. Let me give examples on homosexuality. If you will look at the history of Europe, and you know the first law is always to know the enemy. You will see Europe has a bloody history on the relationship of homosexuality. From Greece all the way down to today, where they're bashing the heads of homosexualities.
They've had a bloody history with homosexuality, to where they were the ones causing the bloodshed of queer people. Let's listen further.
Africa has none of this. Even Africans in America do not bash in their heads of homosexuals.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that is something that has changed because blackness is attacking itself, which is why we don't care and we don't do shit about niggas killing niggas, whether they straight or motherfucking gay. So I wish, in a sense, we could get back to that type of mentality where because you black, I'm not gonna bash your fucking head in because you're queer.
The question of homosexuality is a question of intolerance. Europe's culture is most intolerant. It's really a culture that has no diversity. It seeks conformity. In the 1960s, if you would go to white colleges, all the white boys on there were wearing crew cuts and sandal shoes. They all look alike. The other day I saw one wearing long hair. He said, what did you do for me anyway? I said, made it possible for you to wear long hair. Yes, broke up the conformity. It's most intolerant. It's most intolerant. African culture is very tolerant. As a matter of fact, that's why we're the trouble we're in today. I remember as a young tough.
And speaking about tolerance, he just said that the white Christian European belief system is teaching black people to be intolerant of something that Africans were very tolerant of because they understood that it was a part of the experience. It is not to have a shadow over everyone to us like, oh my God, now we all have to take dick. Now we all gonna be bent over. Oh my God, it's gonna be prison. No, it's the fact that there are people who are going to be different from you. And because that is the motherland where they say everything comes from, it is rich in diversity. It is rich in color. It is rich in culture. And on top of that, why the fuck are we listening to African Americans who the majority has not even left their fucking city? So how you gonna sit up here and talk about Africa when even Africa has been taught to us through the lens of whiteness? And I see the numbers have dropped. Wow. I guess this is going to be something that you got to go back and talk to the fellas about to kind of figure it out.
In Harlem, I used to go to the Audubon Ballroom when Malcolm was assassinated. I used to go to Rockland Palace, and if my memory serves me correctly, it used to happen in April. It still happens. All the homosexuals in the African community, and they put up signs, and I see them now. They have a big transvestite ball. And they would come at Rockland Palace, we were tough, 15, 16 armed. But wouldn't anybody think about hitting any of them? The best we could say is, you really think that one is a woman? Yes. No, none whatsoever. The hardest organization in our community against homosexuality is the Nation of Islam. You hear the Honorable, Minister Farrakhan now saying, you better tell them they got to straighten up their wrists. Yes. But everyone knows James Baldwin. And James Baldwin, no African ever hid their homosexuality. James Baldwin was a homosexual. And yet you will hear Malcolm X and Farrakhan praising James Baldwin for his contribution to the struggle.
Now this again is from the mouth of one of the original, the OGs of the motherfucking Black Panther Party, who just explicitly, from his years of being on the streets, strategizing, organizing, really putting shit into motion. Maybe if motherfuckers put shit into motion, the fupas will not be overflowing. The knees will not be buckling, girl. The necks will not be necking. Who again has traveled around the world, and you see how he looks now. He's a very seasoned, wise man. See, this is what a wise man looks like and speaks like. I will listen to a wise man, but I do not submit to old fools. No shade. And there are some people who are completely foolish when it comes down to homosexuality and queerness. So y'all gonna have to argue him down about that. Now that we've done that, since we in the realm of queerness, girl, let's talk about his viewpoint on women's empowerment, women's liberation. Let's listen to his response.
Just to give you examples, one more. All women are oppressed everywhere.
All women are oppressed everywhere. Continue.
This is a fact. African men, we oppress our women. There's no question here. But in order to properly understand the oppression of each woman, you must understand their particular history. Africa produced the very first queens in the world. And these queens were not play queens. They had proper power. Dr. Henry Clark has written a small pamphlet, the title has escaped me, in which he talks about the contribution of Queens. It's a very small pamphlet, I'm sorry, the title has escaped me, I read so much. But in the book, the pamphlet, Dr. Clark shows and demonstrates that every time a queen occupied the throne in Africa, Africa advanced technologically, socially, politically, economically. And if a queen was on the throne and the enemy invaded, there was no compromise at all.
Yeah, I do live in a different world, girl. It's a different world. He just said that when, because again, Africa is the black woman is the black woman, the black woman, the black woman is this is a black woman, and the black woman. Meanwhile, the black woman is the most abused woman, and her black man allows for that to happen. That when a black woman sat in a position of power, things were good economically, socially. And because the things were good, whenever someone came to try to take her off the throne, they're going to defend her because it is now a healthy codependent situation here where both and everybody's heard. I mean, I don't understand what the problem is, because y'all individuals who don't want a female to be president, y'all show fighting hard as hell to get a woman to be the leader of your damn house in reference to taking care of the house. So if she can take care of your house, if all you do is go out and work and provide and all this shit and come home and she the one taking care of the finances, she's doing the book, she's making sure the children are safe, making sure that you have food to eat, all this type of stuff, who really has the power in this situation? Because if this individual walks away from you, how can you do for yourself? And I know this to be the truth, because when I worked at my last job, which was K&G, I would have a grown-ass men come in and hound me to help them dress themselves, because normally their wife or their girlfriend come in and do it. You know how many times they have come inside this man suit store and the women led everything? If y'all stuck and feeling some type of way about the happy wife, happy life situation, well, maybe you should try to love your damn self so it could be happy spouse, happy house, which means both parties, well, for the motherfuckers that have the capacity to love more than one person, shout out to y'all, but the house can be healthy. Let's continue.
These are historical facts. We say African women are exploited today, oppressed today. Yes, they are. African men exploit their women everywhere, but the one place they can never exploit the women is on the front lines fighting for the people. If you will look at the history of Africa, you will see women on the front lines all the way from the first queens, all the way down through Nzinga, all the way to Assata Shaku on the front lines fighting for the people.
So the women get to be on the front lines. I heard somebody on the platform say, well, if y'all want to be treated like men, and if y'all want to have the same respect as men, I need y'all to get y'all asses out there on the front lines, and I need you to put your life down from your culture. But meanwhile, an individual who knows more about culture than you ever could literally said, from historical facts, that has been the case. And then y'all feel some type of way when the movie The Woman King comes out. I low-key want to say something, girl, because again, I have dark thoughts. I had to find a way to laugh through pain, bruh. And that's kind of a habit that sticks with you for the rest of your damn life. Let me stop before I let some of my intrusive thoughts win.
No other race has produced women warriors as we have for the entire world, even though they are warriors. I heard much nonsense about the 60s from those who've done nothing but write books. Chinese say, no participation, no right to... Thank you. No participation, no right to speak. If you haven't participated in something, really you can't speak about it, because what you observe and what you see and what is not the same thing.
Ooh, what you observe... Basically the way I interpret that is this: if you don't know what you're talking about, it's best that you just shut the fuck up and learn so you can be educated. Okay?
I've heard them say that women play no role in the struggle. How could they say that about us? Say that women are oppressed. Yes, our women are oppressed. But to say that our women play no role in the struggle, sure, nobody knows what they're talking about. As a matter of fact, they talk about the 60s. Martin Luther King got up because the woman sat down. Rosa Parks. It was Rosa Parks that put us on our feet. Where'd they come from? It was Rosa Parks. And Rosa Parks wasn't just some little seamstress. She was an organizer, secretary for the movement of the NAACP. She's an organizer. People say that, well, this organization, she was a student nonviolent called the committee. It was founded by a woman, Ella Baker.
Oh my God. My God. And again, you can't argue down the mentally ill man no more. Because again, I don't have to use certain people's content to really speak my point, because their point is so dripping in fear and ignorance that I can just use other educational aspects, what it's put there for, in its proper context, to be like, well, I want y'all to look at this.
When I was chairperson of STIT, my position was the most public, but the most powerful position was the executive secretary. It was held by a woman, Ruby Doris Smith Robinson. Just because you don't know your history and you don't know your culture, you shouldn't respond. If you're ignorant, you should seek knowledge before you answer. And the people, Africans, we know nothing about our struggle. It's these interpretations brought to us that we repeat like a parrot without knowing anything. Even the Black Panther Party, which they speak about, people didn't know that Elaine Brown, a woman, was chairperson of the party. And anyone who knows anything about the history knows that the most militant segment of the Black Panther Party was the Black Liberation Army. And everyone knows it was led by a woman, Asante Shakur. Even if they didn't know it, the police knew it.
So even though y'all niggas didn't know it, the enemy knew it. Which is why the enemy wants you to fight each other on the inside, because it makes the enemy's job easier. And the reason why these other red pill spaces be catching these humongous ass L's when it comes to women's liberation and queer liberation is because these individuals have liberated themselves from this idea of what people think they should be and allow them to self-actualize. It's a lot of black men, and to be honest, it's hetero and queer too. But since we the minority, y'all the majority, it's more so y'all that are the last ones to rise and ascend, because y'all don't know who y'all are. Maybe if you cry, maybe you'll start to figure it out. Maybe if you go to therapy, maybe you'll be able to figure it out. Maybe if you find a way to get in your emotions without fagging it the fuck out, then maybe you would get to that point. And again, in the words like Harold put in the comment section, this is coming from the mouth of a notable member of the Black Panther Party, and this shit was uploaded years before AI came in and did what it did, boo. Again, the links are in the description box below, because I'm not afraid to share my information.
Because the police used to say everywhere, we got to get her because she's the soul of the liberation. Once we get her, she's finished. They're finished. That's what they said. And once they arrested her, they thought she was finished. But they arrested her sister, and brothers risked their lives to go into the jail, bring her out, to go out of prison. So when you come to fight against an enemy, you must think differently from the enemy. And the only way you can think differently from the enemy is when you're rooted in your culture. When you are proud of your culture, and when you properly understand that the struggle here is really a cultural struggle. Because in the final analysis, all struggles are struggles of ideas, and all ideas come from the given culture in which they find themselves.
Okay. But that ain't the only Black Panther motherfucker we got tonight. We're gonna bring up Huey Newton. Okay? I put this clip on one of my lives about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. But of course, this is information, this is history, and again, you share it. This is him being interviewed about his opinions and perspectives about the queer liberation and women's liberation during the time of the Civil Rights movement or Black liberation. Let's take a listen.
There are a couple of other minority situations, or at least cleavages, on which I would like your comments. There are many groups of women today who are all categorized as women's liberation, and yet again, they represent a variety of groups, only some of whom are politically conscious, and there are other groups like the homosexual groups. I would like your thinking on their relationship to what you're talking about.
They definitely have a place in the revolutionary movement, the Women's Liberation Front. The Women's Liberation Front, some of the groups are politically conscious. Those groups of women who are politically conscious, we would like to unite with them, and we would like to also have unity with the homosexual groups who are also politically conscious. We've had meetings with the homosexual representatives of the homosexual group, and also the Women's Liberation Front. Now, the homosexual group have been oppressed so much and so badly until it was hard to convince them that the Black Panther Party is relating to them. But we see that homosexuals are human beings, and they're oppressed because of the bourgeois mentality and the bourgeois treachery that exists in this country, that tries to legislate sexual activity. Most of the laws are laws not to promote freedom, which is, I believe, that one of the most essential things that man universally strives after, whether it's internal freedom or external freedom. In other words, freedom from compulsions and obsessions. Man is not happy when he feels forced. These are the internal things when he's obsessed and feels compelled, whether it's through religious reasons or backwards values reasons, that even if he carries those values, that he's unhappy. And of course, that when we start legislating from the outside, there's force from the outside also, and this is on the laws, on the law book, saying that adult people can't have any kind of sexual relationship they want to. I don't think that the homosexuals should be harassed and badgered and brutalized because of their desire to have a sexual relationship that's not popular at this time. So we plan in the future to make sure that we're have solidarity with all oppressed people.
But again, we're not just gonna take the men's perspective for it. We're going to also listen to, again, out of Kwame's mouth, one of the faces, and even the Black Gay History Channel, out of his mouth, both men, black men, mind you, saying that one of the faces, one of the notable faces, was Angela Davis, who again is a openly lesbian woman. Sometimes when I be doing my shit, when I get done, I be like, wow, because when you actually start loving your damn self and start getting into the flow, the universe will find a way to make everything make sense. And that is a gift that's inside all of us. It's called working through your fears. It's easier said than done. These individuals put their lives on the line for all of us. Being on the FBI's most wanted list, Angela Davis was under an assassination attempt. Was tried by the government and had to flee to another country in order to survive because her life was being threatened, all to help us, and not just us as black people, but other groups of oppressed people. But I think black people at large is going to have to swallow one of the biggest motherfucking pills ever in life, which is we do not own, nor are we the sole proprietor of discrimination. We don't own that. That is not a black thing. Now, have we been the most discriminated in this country historically and factually? Yes, but we're not the only ones. If anything, we are the prototype. We are the blueprint for this country to run the way that it's been running for this long, off of us. And because it's a capitalistic one, it is saying we used you niggas as property, and now we're going to turn other people into property. And I think the black community is just tired at this fucking moment. We've been fighting. Every fucking election is fighting. Motherfuckers dying, motherfuckers shit, motherfuckers dying early, whether it's from damn gun violence, whether it's goddamn diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, all type of shit. At this point, young niggas dying too from these things. Seems like 50 is the new 80. And again, we keep having the same conversations. In the next generation, we just hope they get it right. We just hope they get it right. Well, y'all fears are not helping them. Y'all ignorances is not helping them. And old dogs can definitely learn new tricks, because God willing, if I live to get to an old age, I still want to be a student and learn too. So first of all, I'm never out of touch. And secondly, I don't get to in those spaces where a lot of people unfortunately get. They become so set in their ways and so bitter that they have this bitter ass viewpoint on life. And even when they're on their deathbed, love still finds a way to come in there and comfort their ass towards the end. Let's get into Angela Davis.
Emailer Damien asked the question, should the civil rights struggle be linked with the gay rights struggle, as many of the quote-unquote black leaders are leaning towards?
How many times has the queer community of color been asked by a lot of ignorant heterosexual people, what do you have to offer us? Like, what do you guys have to give us? Like, it's like it's a bartering thing. So I want y'all to listen, because that question is kind of themed in the way that a lot of y'all think about it. And I would hope that by y'all listening to this, y'all will do your own research and understand and look at queer individuals who have benefited the black community. Because again, Kwame said that James Baldwin was acknowledged by Malcolm X and Farrakhan, two very masculine men who were able to understand his humanity. If only the brothers could do the same thing, you might fuck around and have other people affirm your humanity. See how that works?
As a person who is also African American and gay, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think that that the civil rights movement during the 1960s created a terrain. It created a terrain that allowed many groups and communities to think about particular issues of discrimination and domination. Certainly the women's movement, as it developed in the 60s, would not have been possible without the backdrop of the civil rights movement. And, you know, certainly the movement of women of color, certainly the gay, lesbian, now bisexual, transgender movement would not have been conceptualized in the same way had it not happened against the backdrop of civil rights, the civil rights movement. I think the problem is that some people, including some leaders, tend to see the gay movement as supplanting the anti-racist movement, which makes no sense. Because in order to have a movement against homophobia, a movement that would strive for justice for gays and lesbians, there would have to be a movement for women's justice there. There would have to be a movement for racial justice there. So it seems to me that we need to see how these movements develop and overlap and are mutually constitutive. But I would like to say that in light of the current issues, gay marriage, that you know, while this has become the one of the hottest political topics, we shouldn't forget the critiques of the institution of marriage that have had an important impact on the way we think about women and the way we think about marriage. I don't want to argue that the critique of the nuclear family is something that we should give up, particularly given the role of women in that particular configuration. But of course, as many people point out, there are never any guarantees. You may feel like you're engaging in the same struggles all over again, but as a matter of fact, each generation, each historical period, we have to remake the past in order to make the future.
Have you personally been discriminated against because of being a lesbian?
No, I don't think, I'm not sure what you would refer to as personal discrimination. But my sense is that it is important to have a connection with the sort of structural impact of these forms of discrimination.
We got to
And again, the links are in the description box below if y'all want to go ahead and give y'all interpretation, because I would love to see some platforms go live. I might go watch that to see y'all explain how y'all interpret this. Since I was challenged on my platform, and again, shout out to the doc, because again, I'm learning that challenges are nothing but training sessions for me to become a better person. But it's a two-way street. So for the people who are in the bushes, I would love for y'all to do a live on the videos that I've shown. You ain't even got to use my commentary, because I feel like if you did, it will automatically put holes in a lot of y'all logic on y'all channel. But you can just take the videos and interpret it. And again, these are individuals from the Black Panther community, movement, space. And again, they were so revolutionary at that time that they were put on the FBI's most wanted list and were unalived. Not everybody had got the opportunity to live, unfortunately, and all they was doing was caring for the community. So where y'all at? Even if y'all gotta be the Timu Witch version of the Black Panthers, where y'all at? Where y'all at in the streets protecting the children? Where y'all at in the streets protecting women? Well, but I guess it's better to just be in the basement or to be in a podcast room with DoorDash on the way and swollen ankles. I guess that's better. Because again, I get to perform. Which is why, once again, shout out to the doc. I'ma keep giving him his ones. Because he inspired me to actually start doing the work and putting the foot to the pavement, even though low-key I've already been doing that. Because I talk to queer people almost every day. Them dealing with their mental health, hygiene, well-being, all type of questions. And I'm grateful for those experiences because I get to be able to give to somebody else as well energetically. To inspire them to be the best version of themselves. A wise mystic once said, one of the hardest things that you're ever going to have to do in this life is to continue to love and affirm yourself in a world that the majority will try to convince you otherwise. I'm trying to see if I have any other screenshots, girl. So, I'm gonna go ahead and read y'all comments real quick, and then we're gonna get into the last video, which is going to close us out on tonight. I'm proud of myself. It's a pretty short live. Okay, let me see. Let me go to the top. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Okay. Let me see. You said Kamala did her big one. I'm gonna have to see. Because I know everybody talking about it on a bigger scale. I'm trying to deal with this shit in the grassroots, because one conversation I had recently, which is true, unfortunately, it from the highest of the highest heights to the lowest of lows, girl. From the mountaintop to the valley, there's all type of bullshit politics, insecurity, ignorance, and fear that's happening. People be trying to get all this money and accumulate all this wealth in this capitalistic system that literally will treat you differently because you have money, but they don't give a fuck about your character or who you are. We're missing that element. We're neglecting that element that we all need each other. But if y'all was put in life or death situations, you probably wouldn't give a fuck if somebody was queer or not. Can they help your ass? But the issue is, why do we always have to get to the point of destruction before we actually start working together? And then demonize the adults who are aware, who are trying to help the children out so they ain't got to go through the same struggles that y'all went through. That's the problem. And hoping that your child does better, but yet you ain't doing nothing as an adult while you still breathing to make it better for not just your child, but the future as well. And we're talking about all futures, because again, if God did not want this on planet Earth, it would be removed. It does not need your help for that. We are just nothing but a spark in this divine experience. Angela Davis, Alabama's very own Alabama. Queen Steve. I'm gonna just read it like this, girl, because it's better than just scrolling down. I'm trying to scroll on my laptop when I can just be on my phone doing it. Let me pull it up real quick. Comments. Queen Stevie said, power, retribution, and control, the same thing Agent Orange is wanting. other than avoiding prison time. Harold said, I don't think I knew that Huey P. Newton was a queer. I don't know if he is. I don't believe he is. I know that Angela Davis was. And if he is, I probably missed it. Let me see. The Black Panther Party was revolutionary. Queen Stevie said Eldridge Cleaver, Erica Huggins, Kathleen Cleaver. Period. And Huey P. Newton was fine. Shout out to him. Then black men came in, girl, trolling. On this trolling shit, cause the only thing you niggas can do to me right now is troll. I already got y'all beat on everything else. When it come down to the facts, I got y'all beat on that. I use y'all own facts against y'all. Didn't he say, if we're looking at things from an enemy standpoint, because y'all niggas haven't done anything personally to me for me to see y'all as enemies, like in real life. If anything, I'm an enemy to some of y'all fear-based thoughts and projections of it that y'all can't verify. I'm against that. But I would love for y'all to use the content that I show in my live and break it down in your live. I would love to hear 10 black men give me the different blind spots to have me like, oh wow, I never saw it that way. And the only man who was able to do that over there was the doc. But BMU says, I am your new leader. I am your leader. He says, you speak the problem, I speak from the root. If you are the root, what the hell does the branches look like? What does the leaves look like? Don't trees find a nourishment in water? I don't think never mind. Never mind, but shout out to you. Deshaun say they do realize gay people's leader was leaders. They're going to gag. I just showed it. Now they gotta argue with them. They can't argue with me. The mentally ill man, the TS Bubs. Cause they was able to see something in my blind spot that I didn't even know. I didn't know I was trans. Maybe it'll hit me 5 to 10 years from now. I didn't know I was trans. They told me I was trans. TS Buzz. I'm not a real man. Meanwhile, queer people have been putting in the motherfucking work. And if I had control just for a social experiment, I would love to see how the black church would operate if all the homosexuals all collectively got up and left and never came back. I wonder how the church would be. Will the church survive? Will they survive? Because all the facts is out now. But now y'all gonna have to downsize, okay, to the storefront churches that a lot of y'all started with, because the queer people were able to help you in the performative aspects of the theatrics. And of course the queer people are going to help you in life. They have to pretend and be in the closet, so they're already acting. It's just that we found this script that works together. So I guess if the queers are gone, the Kim Burrells will balloon up, be putting on clothes that are custom made from tent and awning and RV places, and for shit to wrap up billboards and stuff, and 18-wheelers and shit. Waste built on FEMA camp status, girl, like a Walmart, with a nappy, nasty ass, nutted ass $5. You $5 for a week for you $5 ass hair, girl, on top of their head, and walking knock-kneed in some knockoff goddamn Ugg boots. Ron says, BMU, do you now question the Black Panther's credibility after you learn the Black Panther have sided with the queer community at one time? I would love for black men to ask that. Can y'all see? That's how we know that y'all not really about that life as far as having conversations. This is just an opportunity for y'all to be able to become viral, to become famous, and to take it to really have the easy ass conversations. Y'all don't be having no real wild transformative ass conversations like that for real. Not with some of the frequent niggas that you have. Now when Uncle Jeff come over there, then we start having some real ass conversations. But other than that, it's about, oh well, what I thought and what I was told and what happened to me and all this other stuff that was indoctrinated and taught to you not anything that was naturally organic and there already. And on top of that, y'all need to start answering questions too, because I answer questions. Now I might break it the fuck down because I'm a black intellectual individual. Black intellectual, girl. Black intelligent individual. It be the weed sometimes, girl. I'm both handed. Okay? When you the gray area, you always down to earth. I don't give a fuck. Ain't nobody gonna listen to you unless they can connect with you in some way. And it takes love and it takes self-awareness for that to genuinely happen. And again, motherfuckers might think they winning these battles, but I win the ultimate war because what? I'm a strategist. Harold says, looks to me like queer folk are the first ones to run to the line of scrimmage for the black community. Yeah, because some of these niggas ain't gonna run, girl. Some of them can't. Some of them won't, and some of them need some sort of okay, let me stop, girl. Let me stop. If I get a text from the doc. Now, Bubs. Now, I'm sorry, doc. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I told you. I'm kind of with the ish a little bit too. No shade. We can. It can be Laugh-A-Palooza. Stevie said, don't worry about them. Keep spreading the word, the message. I'm not worried about them. Not personally, I'm not. Because if Trump ass do become president and Project 2025 is enacted and all these anti-queer laws come into play, girl, anybody that try me, girl, we're going out. There is not going to be just me. These oppressed groups of people have been fighting this entire time. Always fighting, yet meanwhile someone's always benefiting, and all we're trying to do is be included so that we can benefit too. But the gag is that because we've been grinding so motherfucking hard in the paint and making it work when you thought it's supposed to take us out, of course we're going to be on a higher level than y'all. So I guess that's the saving grace of it all. That when you actually transcend the fear and you learn to find a space to accept the challenges, even though you're dealing with fear and trembling, that you can be able to learn from this shit, and then when you look in retrospect, it benefits you. Which is why I can sit up here and talk about my ego death that almost took me out, and how that was a pivotal moment for me to be able to really love my damn self. And I hope that other black people will find a way to make self-love a unique experience for them. Because if you don't have love for self with what's about to happen, you're gonna be lost. Deshaun says they talking about Africa, but yet never left their damn city. They just talking a whole bunch of nonsense. Ron says transsexual balls. I bet he is talking about the early times of queer trans ballroom culture. Yep. And think about it. He just said, now we might sit there and we might, not no shade, we might laugh at motherfucker, man. Look at this motherfucker, girl. We drunk and shit. Okay, that's cool. I don't give a fuck. Then we start reading back and it's a funny thing. All right, going on. But it wasn't no, hold on, man. I don't like that fag, man, bro. Come here, bruh. You nigga, come here, bruh. Wasn't none of that. Wasn't none of the gang stalking. Wasn't none of the repressed homosexuality or curiosity within themselves that they trying to beat somebody up about, hopefully to get it out of them. Then meanwhile be the same individuals who will hit your ass up on Jacked or Grindr under a goddamn faceless profile talking about, I'm sorry. And if that is the case, I hope the person ass you beat, they motherfucking tear your asshole up. Manifest the dark, nasty, twisted shit that y'all think happened between consensual adults. Harold says the concrete truth conflicts with what they've been told all their lives. Oh yeah, and I understand that. I came from that. Same thing with organized religion. Imagine being a queer young person learning about queerness and the expression of it through Christianity and how that affected the community and how the community also was in agreement with this whole thing to where it literally fucked queer children up. But then when those queer children survive and become queer adults, y'all talk about protecting the children, even though when we were children we weren't protected. My family protected me. Wasn't no incestuous goddamn touchy feeling on my no spot situation with me. Ain't no situation happened that's locked in the deep dark recesses of my mind. I have a very, very good memory. Now you ask me about something that happened 30 seconds, I might forget a little bit and come back, but as far as my memory, I'm real good with my memory. Y'all care about the children. Okay. Stevie said absolutely, and absolutely, and women still are oppressed in 24, particularly black women. We are. Ron says, I never understood the black community's disdain for feminism. Like, I've overheard some black folks talk about it. Talk about how it never benefited the black community. However, black women were always the fighters, and again, Kwame verified that. Again, a man who was cultured verified that, and that was 20 plus years ago. Ron says nurturers, peacemakers, caregivers, and especially the ones that held the household down when black men were absent. Stevie says that part, Ron, and I'm seeing it right now with some black men refusing to rally behind Madam VP Harris. Shirley Chisholm never got the chance to see the light of day, neither Fannie Lou Hamer. It's that simple to support women and protect us. Deshaun says, see, gay people was helping the community just like straight people. I don't know how these straight people don't realize unless they forget everything and don't know. Harold says, coming from the mouth of a notable member of the Black Panther Party, these are the same type of women who will go against their own interests just to stand in solidarity with men. Ron says, I recall one woman on there that took offense of one of the men's referring to women as hoes. So she might have different feelings than the rest. I already gave my opinion on that. AKA you ninjas are followers. Let me see. Spicy said, buzz with the receipts, baby. Harold said, get what right? The generations coming up are some of the most open-minded and progressive people we've ever seen. But just imagine how those individuals were back in the 60s and 70s, how revolutionary they were. To the point to where the government saw it as a threat. That's what I'm saying. Like, I accept at this current time that we may never see it in our lifetime, but a part of me chooses to say that every generation has said that, and if each generation submits to that, it will never fucking happen. It's going to take a generation to come together that are willing to be open-minded and loving, who are willing to literally put humanity on the forefront or in the forefront, so that a change can happen. Because as long as it'll never happen in our lifetime, we have to also accept the fact that, guess what? Then our children, there's a huge possibility that our children will die during this lifetime. They will be raped in this lifetime. They will be abused in this lifetime. They will be shot in this lifetime. There's a possibility they won't have a husband. They won't have a damn wife. They'll never have a successful fucking marriage. Their children will then suffer because of the lack of the energy and the attention and affirmation there that should have been given to them or taught to them by those that came before them. We have to accept all that too. We have to accept the fact that these school shootings are just going to continue to happen. We're just going to have to accept that these gang hits are just going to continue to happen, and just hope and pray that it ain't just me one day. That I could be sitting in my motherfucking house doing a live and a bullet come through and hit me, even though some niggas would be happy about that. Now my life is over with, and I wasn't doing anything to receive that bullet coming my way. It's a bunch of niggas on perks and lings who can't shoot straight. And instead of them being skilled to be able to pop a nigga in the head one time, they have to get these full automatics, hoping that something hit. Harold says, what can you do for us in exchange for our respect? Stevie said, what about Lil RT, girl? They said, fuck Lil RT, he gonna die soon. That's what they said. Stop worrying about us in the queer community and what we're doing. Ron says, now you know it's not young black now you know it's not young black men gunning each other down is the problem. It's us. That's us, girl. We queer people, girl, is just so powerful that it's just... Is the gay shit inspiring the niggas to go kill? Is it that when the niggas finally fuck another dude, they end up being in such denial that they just gotta go out and just kill niggas to bring their masculinity back into balance or something? Is that what it is? What type of weird ass ritual is this? Harold says, how are the folks who were on the ground weird for affirming queer people? Deshaun says, I just want to know why black men don't help the community but hate gay people. Damn shame. Well, anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. First of all, I want to say, please make sure you hit the like button. It helps this channel to grow in the algorithms. We are at 817 subscribers. Shout out to y'all for that, on the road to 1K. Slowly but definitely surely, baby. We putting in the work so that when we get there, we can maintain and evolve and grow, okay, and manifest what we want to manifest. Okay, if you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my lives and my edited content. Okay, if there's anything in this live that if there's anything in this live that I have said that stuck with you or you feel like would be a great conversation starter in different spaces and places, I ask that you please screen record it and also make sure to tag me in it. I am BubzDaGawd everywhere. And if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit me up in the Cash App, $BubzDaGawd. We take anything and everything, okay? We appreciate what y'all give us. We ain't asking for shit, but if you giving, we appreciate it, okay? We putting in time, effort, and energy. And again, like I said, I believe in the law of reciprocity. I give and I receive. So if you feel compelled to give for me to receive, I appreciate it, okay? Shout out to everybody in the chat, and I'm going to leave y'all with this video from Kwame, and it's entitled Freedom. It's spoken in reference to blackness, but that is just one of the intersections of humanity that is fighting to be connected. And this freedom speech or dissertation or excerpt that we're going to hear speaks to humanity. It's just that he's speaking to humanity through the lens of blackness. And until next time, y'all, peace.
Now then, in order to understand white supremacy, we must dismiss the fallacious notion that white people can give anybody their freedom. No man can give anybody his freedom. A man is born free. You may enslave a man after he is born free. And that is in fact what this country does. It enslaves black people after they're born. So that the only act that white people can do is to stop denying black people their freedom. That is, they must stop denying freedom. They never give it to anyone. Now we want to take that to its logical extension so that we could understand then what its relevancy would be in terms of new civil rights bills. I maintain that every civil rights bill in this country was passed for white people, not for black people. For example, I am black. I know that. I also know that while I am black, I am a human being. Therefore, I have the right to go into any public place. White people didn't know that. Every time I tried to go into a place, they stopped me. So some boys had to write a bill to tell that white man he's a human being. Don't stop him. That bill was for that white man, not for me. I knew it all the time. I knew it all the time. I knew that I could vote, and that wasn't a privilege, it was my right. Every time I tried, I was shot, killed, or jailed, beaten, or economically deprived. So somebody had to write a bill for white people to tell them, when a black man comes to vote, don't bother him. That bill, again, was for white people, not for black people. So that when you talk about open occupancy, I know I can live any place I want to live. It is white people across this country who are incapable of allowing me to live where I want to live. You need a civil rights bill, not me. I know I can live where I want to live. So that the failure to pass a civil rights bill isn't because of black power, isn't because of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, is not because of the rebellions that are occurring in the major cities. It is incapability of whites to deal with their own problems inside their own communities. That is the problem of the failure of the civil rights bill.